Sorry, North Korea, but we got to put this whole nuclear war thing on hold for a bit because apparently we still haven't finished our civil war. Now, people are saying that removing these statues is erasing history. No. Erasing history is what is happening in the Texas school systems, all right, where they've replaced the word slave with workers in their history books. I think this is super important to remember. Those were slaves. And the statues coming down weren't even made after the Civil War. They were made like 30 to 40 years later at the height of Jim Crow in response to black people winning social and economic freedoms. They were erected not to pay tribute, but to remind black people of their place, like the Oscars. And then, during the Civil Rights era, while KKK was revving up lynchings, a bunch of more statues were mass-produced, sort of like the thinking man, only the exact opposite. Again, these were not monuments to war heroes, okay? They are statues specifically erected to remind black people in the South that they're going to be oppressed and terrorized. There is a reason that people consider these statues to be symbols of bigotry and terror, and that is because they are. People say, you know what, all this Donald Trump racism talk is bullshit, liberal, fake news that you cannot prove. Nobody called Donald Trump a racist before the Democrats in this election. All right, first of all, let me put this in a language that you can relate to. Wrong. Wrong. You're the puppet. Look, I'm not a fool, all right? I've lived a long life of paying attention and of knowing who Donald Trump is, all right? He has a long history of being a bloated, arrogant, punk-ass swindler and liar, okay? What good has he ever done in the world? Ever. Seriously, in his entire life. It is embarrassing that this is the man that people stand behind, all right? I don't need to prove his racism to you because you don't believe in evidence. His actions and his words have reflected his racism for the last 2 years and for the last 40 years. I mean, this motherfucker is making Jeff Sessions look like a civil rights leader. I'm not saying that all Trump supporters are racists, all right? But the people who insist that Trump isn't one are ignoring decades of proof. And even stranger, you're basically saying, you know what, I'm not a racist, but I agree with all those people that are. It's like Trump is playing a game of what crazy shit can I get away with and still be president. The only place with more angry white nationalists than Charlottesville is Trump's cabinet, right? Trump is such a terrible human being that I'm surprised these Confederates aren't right this minute making him a statue. You know, sometimes the beauty of free speech is that the idiots use it, and now we know who they are.